Article 13 has just recently been passed, and its effects will be widespread in the European continent, and also all throughout the internet, considering how much of a part it plays in the entire traffic of the internet. Today we're going to be talking about how exactly this is going to affect you and all of your favorite websites that you visit on a regular basis. And even if you've never particularly heard of Article 13 and you don't live in Europe, there's definitely going to be a significant change in the entire internet that will affect you. Now, before we get too far into it, we of course need to understand fully what Article 13 is and what it's going to do, and why Article 13 in particular is such a big deal and not Article 10 or 11 or 5, etc. Essentially, Article 13 has everything to do with copyright, and the way that copyright is enforced on the internet. Essentially, what will happen when Article 13 goes into jurisdiction, more copyright liability will be offered to websites such as media sources. And what this means is that general free information flow across the entire internet will be restricted. Multiple big websites that offer information sources like Google or YouTube, and the people that are on the websites that are producing content which offers information from other sources such as other media outlets and newspaper articles, will essentially have to be responsible for the copyright of the information that they got it from. So for example, if there's a third-party company like Google that offers you a news section, they will have to pay every single source of where they got the news from. And channels like this one that offer free information for every single video that you click on would have to deal with new rules being made by YouTube in order to get around this new copyright law. This will be heavily affected on YouTube specifically, since people frequently make YouTube videos containing information that has obviously come from all different sources. When Article 13 is finally passed and put into action, YouTube will have to go out of their way to monitor their website to a whole nother extent, to make sure people are legally achieving the copyright permission to spread the information that they are in their videos. So basically, if you're a YouTuber and if you thought copyright was already an issue, well, you have no idea what's coming for you. And as for a viewer like yourself, especially if you live in Europe itself, you will also be heavily affected. Of course, the most common knowledge of Article 13 that's most widely renowned by most people is the fact that it has the opportunity to ban memes. Of course, this is a pretty vague description of what Article 13 will do in particular. It is actually true, since memes are based off of internet content that are usually gotten from third-party sources. You might find a meme online that has the word E over a picture of Mark Zuckerberg with someone else's face over it. Well, now that meme might be restricted in certain areas of the internet due to the fact that the original screenshot was taken by a media source, most likely. So in a sense, it is true that memes are going to be restricted under Article 13. But what about YouTube videos and other internet content in general? How will this affect all of that? People on YouTube and all over the internet have been actively protesting against the passing of Article 13. However, the final legislation adopted 348 votes in favor and only 278 against. So regardless of all the outlash, it was passed anyways. And these same people that were using platforms such as YouTube will now have to suffer the consequences. And as stated by a member of the parliament itself, it is indeed a dark day for internet freedom. From this point on, all internet users will be liable for the content that they upload, and this will cause a heavy burden on all popular online services such as YouTube. This is essentially going to restrict all of the internet's access coming from Europe, and generally all websites that are accessed globally, such as everything on YouTube, Google, and all other search engines, and widely visited other websites. If you live in Europe, you will be having a hard time to access new information which used to be easy to attain through the internet, since companies are not going to want to pay other companies money just to give out free information. It's estimated that over 5 million people were petitioning against the passing of Article 13, and there were over 100,000 protesters in the course of 3 days. But the legislators passed it anyways. So essentially, the way you access content on the internet from this point on is going to be vastly different than it was before. How does this have any relationship to other things such as net neutrality? Essentially, what net neutrality was meant to do would be to restrict internet access through your service providers of the internet itself. That would make you have to pay money to access certain plans of websites. This, on the other hand, affects everyone equally. So make sure you leave your opinion on this passing of Article 13 in the comment section. And while you're at it, make sure you turn that gray thumb button blue. And subscribing would definitely help out this YouTube channel as well, considering there's probably going to be rough times in the future. And I'll see all you guys in the next one.